Welcome to I Drink Your podcast.
Oh gosh, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
Wait, you like that?
No,
you don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
No, how about that? You like that?
A little better.
Bread makes you fat?
Does this count as annoying?
Just tell me what you want me to fuck!
Not you, and not you.
Okay, I think it's time to take off your clothes and jump me.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
I drink your podcast! I drink it up!
Welcome, everyone, to I Drink Your podcast, the show where we are digging in deep to a year within movies. This year is 2010. Just kidding, it's 2022, but we're watching movies from 2010. This is Emily. I have Ben with me.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Dylan.
Hey, everybody. Say hi to your mom for me.
Oh, boy.
God damn it, Dylan. You know, I had plugged in on my notes at minute 3 before we introduced the movie that I was going to have you take your headphones off. And we were going to do like the Pee Wee Herman bit where if you say the magic word that we all freak out, and that was going to be it, because I knew you were going to do a goddamn Mark Wahlberg, and you couldn't even wait 3 fucking minutes for me to do the bit.
Nah, I couldn't. Say hi to your mom for me.
Jesus.
My goodness. Well, we watched a movie from 2010 with Mark Wahlberg in it, but I'm curious, what is in your glass? Let's go with Dylan first.
Well, I'm actually sticking with the thing. I got Sam Adams.
Oh.
The Pride of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And it's the pumpkin one.
Not my favorite, but it's all right.
It's okay. This is kind of a fall movie. Doesn't the fighter feel like a fall movie to you?
Well, yeah, and I would also say because this is during Oscar season, and Oscar season's usually during the fall, so qualifies.
Ben, what about you?
Inspired by Irish Mickey Ward, I went with my own Irish mule today. So I've got Jameson, ginger beer, and lime juice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Not
Emily?
bad.
So I know it's not actually related, but I decided to go with Boxing Day, the drink.
Okay.
Because, you know, I mean, related in terms of what Boxing Day is. It's not like the day to go out boxing.
It's not?
No.
What is Boxing Day?
It's the day after Christmas.
In like Canada and the UK.
You probably could tell from our drinks we watched The Fighter, which is available to stream on Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus.
The Fighter is currently at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes and was nominated for 7 Oscars, winning 2. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Editing, Best Original Screenplay, and 3 acting nominations.
Look, Mick, nobody's got heart like you. You're a very talented fighter. I want to give you a real shot. Make one last run at this thing before it's too late.
What about my brother? He's taught me everything I know. I can't do it without him.
With all due respect, he's too much trouble.
Dickie, get on the ground right now!
He's a fighter! Break his hand! Mick, I was doing it for you.
You did it for me? What, this? Do me a favor, don't get nothing for me no more, okay?
This movie is directed by David O. Russell, who made a couple of shorts before writing and directing Flirting with Disaster, 3 Kings, and I Heart Huckabees. He also has a movie coming out this year that's generating a lot of early Oscar buzz called Amsterdam. Have either of you seen that trailer yet?
No. What's it about? Amsterdam?
David O. Russell movies typically have like heist type things, elements, or like madcap energy type stuff. Like you think American Hustle, 3 Kings, I Heart Huckabees. This one takes place in the 1930s, and it stars Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington.
Ooh. Who's John David Washington?
Denzel's son. The guy from Tenet.
Okay. Awesome. That's like stellar cast. Stellar.
Yeah. Starring in this movie is Mark Wahlberg. He has starred in the David O. Russell directed 3 Kings and I Heart Huckabees before this. He's a former lead member of the Funky Bunch and the inspiration for the show Entourage, which I have recently restarted watching.
What?
And?
It does not hold up. Not that it ever held up in the first place.
I'm sorry. He inspired a show?
Yeah, he produced a show that was kind of inspired by his own group of people that he had around him when he got famous. So Entourage is about this guy who gets famous in Hollywood and kind of like the hangers-on in his crew and them getting along through Hollywood and kind of navigating Hollywood.
I will say that it's a fun show if you really just want something mindless to watch, because there's like not a whole lot of substance really to it, in my opinion.
No, not at all. It's candy.
Yeah, it's very we're macho men type stuff. It's very
Emily
alpha.
would absolutely fucking hate it.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Also starring in this movie is Amy Adams. For this movie, she was nominated for her third Oscar for Best Actress. She broke out with roles in Drop Dead Gorgeous, Junebug, Talladega Nights, and the 2007 movie Enchanted.
So good.
So good. Have you guys seen Drop Dead Gorgeous?
Yes, you made me watch it. It was amazing.
I did. I saw it in the theater when I worked at Regal.
Dylan, you live in Rosemount, Minnesota, and that movie takes place in Mount Rose, Minnesota.
That's so stupid.
Christian Bale, also in this movie, won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for this. He had a prolific 20-year career prior to this with Empire of the Sun, Newsies, American Psycho, and oh yeah, he was also Batman.
No big deal.
Not a big deal at all.
I'm Batman.
Swear to me.
Last person we'll call out is Melissa Leo, who won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for this, after launching a massive ad campaign for herself to win.
What?
Oh yeah. Like, she took out ads in newspapers and like video ads in LA to convince people to vote for her to win the Oscar.
I gotta see these.
She was a character actress before this with many credits, also receiving an Oscar nom in 2009 for Frozen River. Emily had not seen this movie before. Is that correct, Emily?
No, I had not seen this movie before.
What did you think it was about?
All right. I knew nothing about this. I had no idea who was in it, but then Ben let it slip that it was something to do with a sport. And I was like, oh yeah, the obvious sport to go with when you think of the words The Fighter is water polo, obviously. So The Fighter is the story of an American water polo player scared of the water and how he conquers that fear because he's a fighter. I imagine the water polo player has some traumatic event happen to him while he's on vacation before the Olympics, involving obviously a massive amount of jellyfish. And from that point on, he just can't train with his team. So he eventually goes back with like some guru to conquer his fear in the ocean and eventually learn some mad skills from the jellyfish, you know, Dory style, I guess.
Okay.
Once back in the pool, he fights past his trauma to help earn the Olympic bronze medal. Definitely not gold. Eastern Europeans always dominate the gold.
I gotta say, when you said water polo and then he was afraid of the water, I'm like, then why did he choose water polo? So I'm glad that the twist was that he was an established player first and then got the fear. That's good. Not what this movie was about.
No.
Your movie had a little more water polo than this one. Dylan, what was this movie actually about based on the DVD cover?
All right, here we go. Based on a true story, two brothers against all odds come together to train for a historic title bout that has power to reunite their fractured family and give their hard-luck town what it's been waiting for. Mickey Ward is a struggling boxer long overshadowed by his older brother and trainer, Dickie, a local legend battling his own demons. Their explosive relationship threatens to take them both down, but the bond of blood may be their only chance for redemption. The Fighter.
I just want to throw out there that when you said two brothers, I can only think of
Rick and
Morty.
Absolutely.
It's just called Two Brothers.
It's just two brothers.
I have a huge bomb to drop that is not really going to surprise any of you. The Fighter is Emily's first boxing movie ever.
No.
What?
That does surprise me a lot.
Yeah.
It is. I have never seen Rocky. I've never seen Creed. I've never seen $1 Million Baby. I've never seen, I think Southpaw is another famous one. I've never seen The Hurricane. I've never seen any. Nope, never seen Fight Club.
Holy.
I wouldn't say Fight Club's a boxing movie.
Well, it's an offshoot,
It's a fight
I would
movie.
say. I'd say it's something with people using their fists. So I'd say it's an offshoot. I'd give her some credit, maybe 25% credit if she'd seen that.
You haven't seen Real Steel
Nope.
with the Rock'em Sock'em Robot boxers?
Nope.
Oh, man.
That movie's baller. I love that movie.
Nevertheless, even though I've never seen a boxing movie, you guys probably don't know this about me. I actually love boxing. I really love boxing.
That astonishes me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try to figure this out. You love boxing, yet you've never seen like kind of the quintessential boxing movie, which I would say is Rocky. Is kind of the quintessential.
Rocky 4 is the quintessential Rocky movie.
Of the series, yes. I'm just talking in general. The quintessential boxing movie that makes every person who kind of became a boxer go, I saw that movie and I went, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Let me back up. I grew up kind of with knowledge of martial arts, and so I've always been a big fan of just generally two people fighting each other. Although, because I was a swimmer, I didn't really get into it until maybe 6 or 7 years ago when I started watching Hajime no Ippo, the early 2000s anime, which is one of the best animes ever.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It is the thing that got me into boxing. I think that showing the drama and the buildup of everything, especially with this show, it just shows both of the characters and just how they got to that point and how they learn strategies against each other, and then how they just put the fight together. Obviously with anime, it's a little bit easier to show things than in real life, but I fucking love boxing. And so when this came on and I saw it, I was like, oh God, this is going to be so fun. I fucking loved this movie. I had a great time.
Did you love the movie because of the boxing?
I loved the movie for a lot of reasons, but the boxing was very fun. I had a fun time.
Because I didn't think the movie was really a boxing movie until the third act. It was a lot of family drama up till then, but he's training obviously, but it doesn't really become boxing matches until the third act.
Yes, I know, but boxing isn't just boxing. Boxing is the idea of this rags to riches usually, right? There's always this kind of overcoming something, and you can't hide your physique. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger talked about when you are a boxer, you can't fake it. You have to train, and you have the physique that you have. So all of these actors doing boxing movies, they have to fucking train like boxers to look like the way that they do.
So I'm a big fan of boxing. I love watching boxing pay-per-views, even when I don't know the boxers involved, because I love the strategy. I love when two people are just thrown into the ring with only their own devices to try to figure out how to beat another person. The amount of strategy that it takes, the amount of preparation it takes. These guys train for weeks for a single fighter. We see when Mickey gets thrown into the ring against a guy he hasn't prepared for, what happens there. And it's not necessarily just about your strength, but it's about identifying people's weaknesses in the moment or in the studying and kind of manipulating that for your own benefit.
It's a full-on character study.
Absolutely.
I would say it's like physical chess, where it's two people facing each other and you have to look for that little hole or the mistake that'll finally create the win.
And I think also there are so many complexities to the actual fighting and buildup of it. When you are in the position of the audience, it's extremely easy to understand as a sport, right? They have rounds, it lasts a certain amount of time, it moves quickly, you see them hitting each other, there's results right away. And so it's a very good sport movie that I didn't realize is very common. When you have other sport movies, you don't get the same sort of instant results because games are usually longer.
I would say the sport of boxing is probably one of the sports that you really don't need to know a lot of the rules, or the rules are pretty easy to follow. You know what a low blow looks like. When you're watching it, you see a low blow. You know what that means. You see these kind of, when one boxer bites the other's ear off, you know that that's against the rules.
I for a
That
minute
happened.
thought I missed the movie. I thought I missed a moment in the movie. Well, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear off.
Did you call him? Is that why he's called Holy?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they changed it after the fact. He was just Evander before that. Evander Field. And then they had to add the Holy after he got his ear bit off.
I don't know if you're serious or not. Like, I'm genuinely curious.
He's not serious. Evander Holyfield was always his name.
Is boxing the most cinematic sport?
I would say, yeah, it's probably one of the easiest to film because it's in a squared circle, in the ring. So they're in an enclosed area where they really can't go any further out. And it's only two people.
Pool is enclosed. Water polo. Sorry.
I also think it being not a team sport, though, does help it because you can build the drama around a single character rather than trying to establish the drama for 52 football players.
Right.
Or even around just the fact that a boxing team or the trainers, there's maybe only 2 or 3 people in the corner with that person. And those are like the primary people that work with that boxer. So really you can, build a story around 2 or 3 people, 3, 4, 5 people.
I'm trying to think of other popular sport movies, and I don't think sports movies are my thing.
Okay.
So based off of the facts that I know that there are a shit ton of boxing movies and the fact that I agree with you, Ben, I think when it's more individualistic, it's a little bit easier to see the growth and the change and the drama. I think, it probably is one of the most cinematic sort of experiences when it comes to movie sports.
I mean, there are really good sports movies for almost all the sports, but I feel like they lack what these boxing movies have, which is with the way that boxing is performed, there's this sense of urgency in the fight, whereas other sports, they're kind of spread out over time, and you can, as a filmmaker, kind of edit it down to have like the dramatic moments in it, like you see with Moneyball at the end. You see with movies like The Greatest Game Ever Played. Some golf movies do a really good job at it too.
I'm sorry.
What?
Just watching. Okay, I've only seen Happy Gilmore as a golf movie. Are there others?
Yeah. So The Greatest Game Ever Played is about it's Shia LaBeouf, and it's like a 1920s story of him being this amateur who went on to win a major golf tournament.
That's awesome. I just cannot see how that would be thrilling to watch in general. but I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's great.
Honestly, if I were to recommend one golf movie to you, Emily, it would be Tin Cup.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think you'd like Tin Cup. It's Kevin Costner, Rene Russo. It's like a romantic comedy, but also a golf movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also say what makes boxing movies really good for everybody to watch, for most people to see, is they're always kind of a feel-good story. Like you walk out of the movie feeling pretty good, happy, or pretty good about yourself, because most of them end on somewhat of a happier note than when they started.
Mm-hmm.
There are some sports movies out there where it starts depressing and it ends depressing.
Really? I thought the purpose of sports movies were to inspire, I guess.
Yeah, but there are some out there. Again, I'll cite $1 Million Baby. That movie doesn't exactly end in the happiest of lights.
Yeah, don't spoil $1 Million Baby for Emily.
I'm not
but
going
you're
any
right.
further.
$1 Million Baby is the example.
Yeah.
Of a sports movie that does not end in a happy place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this one doesn't either. In the last 5 minutes, we learn that Dickie dies.
What?
Emily, you're supposed to be on my team.
Wow.
I forgot.
Okay, my turn to talk about this movie. I saw this at the Best Picture Showcase. I think this was like the first or second year that I went to go see all the Best Picture movies. And this was probably my personal favorite movie of the Best Picture nominees of that year. Just for me, because it made me feel good, and after it was done, and I kept wanting to kind of watch it again and again and again. I can't count how many times I've probably watched this movie, and I really love it and enjoy it. And this was also my first kind of big exposure to really liking David O. Russell as a filmmaker. Because I would say I Heart Huckabees it's a good movie, but it's not for everybody. This is one where I would say David O. Russell really hit a stride, of 3 movies in a row with this, Silver Linings Playbook, and American Hustle, where these were generally pretty audience-friendly movies that everybody could walk in, watch, and enjoy, and there really wasn't anything odd about it. Three Kings, I would also say the same thing, was a very good movie that most people could watch and enjoy. But I Heart Huckabees is pretty different.
That's why Wesley loves it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably one of my favorite movies of the last 10, 20 years.
That's interesting, Dylan. I would describe this movie as a kind of like Ford versus Ferrari. It's a Father's Day movie. It's one of those movies where it's like, yeah, my dad would like this movie. And I enjoy this movie too, in parts. But there's just something about this where, and it's something sports movies do too, where the outcome was never in doubt, in my opinion. Like, because it was based on a true story, like I knew that Mickey was going to win in the end, and there would be this happy resolution where the family's back together. So because of that, the stakes felt pretty low for me in this movie.
For me, being my first boxing movie, I definitely didn't know what was going to happen. I still agree with my earlier point that sports movies are supposed to be inspirational, but people losing doesn't mean it's not inspirational. There's always you try again.
Mm-hmm.
There have been many times where I've swam and have not done well, or people have beaten me, but you keep going. And so I guess I was sitting there waiting to find out when the shoe's going to drop. Something's going to happen. Dickie's going to die and Mickey's going to keep going. I just didn't know what was going to happen. But I would also agree that, on the other hand, because boxing movies are so numerous, that this does feel like a very Father's Day sort of movie. Not saying that my father would love this, which he would, but it's because he's like a black belt in karate, so he loves fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The reveal at the end that he's been fighting cancer the whole time was also just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at this, Ben.
He was the fighter. You're really bad at this.
Yeah.
I told you. Dylan, maybe you should have watched the end of the movie.
Yeah, jeepers.
I've seen the movie so many times that I know the end. Sorry.
Dylan, is this a Mother's Day movie?
Believe it or not, I did see this in the theater with my ma. And she really likes it, and she has it on DVD. I think I gave it to her for Christmas.
Ben, when did you see this movie for the first time?
2 days ago.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't even let this out.
No, I had never seen this movie. It always felt like one of those, because I've seen so many boxing movies, that it was one where it's like, I've seen this movie, even if I haven't seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did really like it, but I liked a lot more of the Christian Bale focus than
absolutely
than the actual Mickey boxing focus.
Mm-hmm.
That part of the movie was much more interesting to me.
Now, and that's one thing, Ben, where you mentioned that there are just some moments where you know the ending, because you could Wikipedia Mickey Ward. You can look him up and you can find out all about his career, or look on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. But I think where this movie does a really good job is, the ending, but yet you still have that deep caring for all the characters, because all the build up to that point, and the character study of the mom and the brother and Mickey and Charlene and all that, it builds up and it adds up into something that I think is really terrific.
I agree with all of those characters. I'm really glad you didn't mention the sisters.
We'll talk about the sisters.
Also, side note, the trainer, Mickey, it was actually his trainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How fucking cool is that?
Yeah, they convinced the guy to actually be in the movie, despite his protesting that he is not an actor. I thought he did a great job.
I didn't realize that he wasn't an actor, and
I didn't know that either. I thought he was damn good. That was wow.
I know,
impressive,
really, really amazing. But like when you're in that sort of job, right, as a trainer, you have to be incredibly supportive, on your feet, constantly adapting to support your boxer, right? That's my assumption. And so I feel like he was just being him, which is great because that's what they needed him to be.
And that's probably what David O. Russell said. Just read the lines as if you're ad-libbing it.
Mm-hmm.
Just say it how you would normally say it.
Right.
Let's get into the good, bad, and weird of this movie and talk about who won this movie for you.
There was a moment, and generally I was going to call out Christian Bale, but he's just so fucking good. I figured what's
fucking good.
What's the best moment for me? And that was kind of where I was looking throughout the movie. His speech to Mickey right before the last round, where it kind of is really not hard to hear him, but they definitely tone it down and keep the ambiance of the fight. The way that he is delivering that and what he's actually saying, and just seeing him incredibly close and loving his brother, that relationship, it was such an amazing moment, and it's what I needed to like get through that next step of believing in what was going to happen. And maybe that is super sappy, but for me, that was like the moment that made me start crying.
Yeah, I think if there's any memorable scene from this movie, it's that speech. I do think it's really powerful, and Christian Bale acts the hell out of that scene,
yeah.
Just like he does with every scene in this movie.
Right.
Like I almost put Christian Bale as my winner because the guy is just incredible. The physical transformation that he made to be in this role, which he's known for doing. Like you saw him in The Machinist, where he was down to like 110 pounds and is just skin and bones. And then he beefed up after that to be Batman in Batman Begins, and you see him, and all of a sudden he's like 220 and just pure muscle. It's insane what this guy puts himself through for acting.
Oh, and he did the same after he made this. He was rail thin and horrible looking in this. Then he went right back to the gym to do The Dark Knight.
Yep.
I'm amazed he hasn't had some kind of a health issue or that or anything.
Or he does and no one knows.
Hard on yeah, exactly. But it can be so hard on the body to do that.
And we'll see in a couple years when we watch American Hustle all the weight he gained for that movie. Like the guy is all over the spectrum
and not muscle
in terms of weight.
And I'd also like to just compliment him on tricking me and probably many other people that he's American.
Yes.
Because fucking A. Like, I think it was maybe 2 years ago I learned that he was British. Fuck off.
I learned at his acceptance speech for this movie, for winning this award, that he was British.
Mm-hmm.
Just a hell of a guy.
My winning is a decision that was made for how they shot the boxing matches in the same style that HBO did at the time this movie was set.
Yep.
It created this feeling of like authenticity to the presentation of the sport in the time period that a lot of the showier boxing movies that are set in the present, like Southpaw or Creed, don't have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a fault of those movies, because those movies do a really good job of like making you feel like you're in the ring and actually part of the fight. Whereas this does a great job of making you feel like you're watching a boxing pay-per-view.
Yes, with the harsh white lighting from the cameras and just it reflecting on everyone, even when it's not like TV shot. And then when it is shot TV, it has kind of the grainy effect. And you see the like Alice and Charlene on the sides, just the way that they're reacting. Again, still that lighting, fucking awesome.
I was actually going to say, I did a little research reading up on the filming of the boxing scenes, and David O. Russell actually hired the actual director and the crew and their equipment to film those boxing matches that filmed them originally for HBO. So he hired those people to do all that stuff. And I loved it too. Because yeah, it made me feel more, again, not in the ring. It made me feel more ringside or watching it from my home.
Yep.
And I love that idea. And it's different. Because yeah, you're right, Ben. almost every other boxing movie kind of is filmed in that, just its regular cinematic way that the rest of the movie has been. This was something different, and it looked different, and it felt different, and that was a good thing.
And what's great is also the commentators adding to that intensity. They were using the actual commentating from that match. And I just think that's so incredible, because what you say in the moment is very, very different from what's scripted.
For me, my winning was the post credits or during the credits scene at the very end
With Mickey and Dickie?
Yes. And here my reasoning is because of Christian Bale's performance, because he is so unusual, like just as a character, that there is no way that you say, oh, it's based on a true story and all this stuff, and then you see Christian Bale and you're like, there's no fucking way that there is a guy who acts like this shit. Come on. No, even on crack. No way. And then you see that credit scene and you're like, holy shit, this puts Christian Bale's performance on an entirely different level. Because you do see this guy is exactly how Christian Bale was in the movie. That he is kind of a butts in on the conversation, needs to be the center of attention all the time. And I love that. I thought that honestly kind of tipped the scale for me for Christian Bale winning the Oscar that year. That tipped to kind of go, okay, he acted just like this guy acts, and that's fantastic. And also I've never seen that in a lot of based on a true story movies, is seeing the actual people. Mostly you just see like a picture and a little like postscript of what they did after their career was done, that type of thing. But this was something where it was nice to see the actual people and go, okay, they're very much like this.
I want to hear your guys' opinion on this question. From an acting standpoint, is it harder to create a character that's unique? Like, would it be more impressive if Christian Bale created this sticky character on his own? Or is it more impressive that he's actually able to mimic a guy who actually exists in this way? Like, because you said he deserved to win because of how close he was to this. So are we saying then that we should give awards to people who can most closely mimic real people, or should we be rewarding people for creating unique characters?
Yes. I think both. No. I think both are. No. I think that you can't say either or. I think both are incredibly impressive to do. I think that seeing Dickie in real life as himself just shows the commitment and dedication to that beyond what you would expect. And even if this hadn't been based on a true story, I still, like, when he was first talking in the car and like the cameras were following him, I was like, he's on something. He's on something, but like I am so engaged with who this guy is and what is happening. So I don't know.
I would say both too, because another one actor that I can give a good example of this to is Edward Norton in the movie Primal Fear. I think he gives a great performance in that one. And I know Emily's probably never seen it.
No, but you know what he's really good in? Death to Smoochie. So fucking good.
Yeah. But that, and also I would say the movie The Score with Robert De Niro, how the character he played in that was very believable. And the movie he should have won an Oscar for, American History X. That wasn't based on anybody, but yet the intensity in his character and in his emotions and his eyes and everything was so fantastic. But that was a character he made up. So yeah, it is both.
I think what I personally want from an actor is, can they make me believe? Can they make me believe in this situation, in this character? I know, Dylan, you had originally said something about how you couldn't believe that this is like a real guy. But the whole time I was like, no, I 100% believe in this character because the way it's being executed, it just feels so real to me. And so if you can make me fucking believe, you better fucking deserve some accolades for that.
And I think didn't Christian Bale win like all of it? Like that year, like he won the Golden Globe, the BAFTA,
he pretty much
the Oscar,
swept
he
awards
cleaned
season.
up. Yeah.
Something else that I really want to call out in this is the music choices.
Yes.
I know that there was one weird one, but other than that, the needle drops, which I'm always a big fan of music that I can recognize, but it just really fit the time and the energy. And I think one of the scenes that really hit me was when the cops were beating up Dickie, and then when Mickey shows up, it like cuts out because suddenly it's serious, and you know his hand is ruined, and the cops are like saying, you know, he's a boxer, ruin his hand. And I just, first off, it's fucking brutal, but the use of music in this movie was done really fantastically.
Yeah, I actually have a note written that this was very Scorsese-like.
Well, they wanted him to direct.
Another director who I think is just amazing with the needle drops is, you know, like Scorsese, Tarantino, and I'd even put David O. Russell in that too, because a lot of the stuff he put in there is just, in this particular movie, felt natural. Does that make sense? That putting like those kind of like a poppy song, you know, it just felt natural to the movie. It flowed.
Boxing movies that don't have realistic boxing in them bother me. Specifically, Rocky. Rocky's boxing is ridiculous as a fan of boxing, trying to be like, oh yeah, that guy throwing all these punches with completely no defense. Sure, that's going to happen. I went and watched a couple of Mickey Ward fights on YouTube after watching this movie. They captured his boxing style so well, and I am so impressed by Mark Wahlberg, because recreating a boxing style for a guy who's not actually a boxer, he legitimately, I believed that he was a fighter because of his performance in this movie. Like, wow. I believe that you could put Mark Wahlberg in there, and he had the same like style and defense as Mickey Ward. It was really cool to see and compare to the real life.
Wow, that is awesome.
I will say that's got to be a bummer to him. Everybody else in the cast got like nominations and so much praise. Wahlberg kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Well, that's because he's got speaking lines.
Mm-hmm.
If it was all just a physical performance, I think Wahlberg probably would have been nominated. There's something about Mark Wahlberg with his accent or his delivery.
Are we in our bad category?
This is my transition to bad, yeah.
All right, that's fine.
There's something about just the way he speaks that makes it feel like he's not a great actor. And I hate to say that because it's not something he has power over, but just his speech patterns, man, it's like, oh, you are just not comfortable.
But that's the character though too of Mickey Ward, is he was a very shy person, doesn't speak up, doesn't, you know, say a whole lot. Well, you can
still be a shy person, but having me believe that you're that shy person is very different.
I don't know. Him going, not you, and not you. Like that part is just
to make you
awkwardly
giggle.
Delivered. It's very awkward, and probably partly the script's fault for that one line. But yeah, it was one of his better performances I've ever seen. But even still, there's something about his delivery that is just makes it tough to watch.
I agree. But for me, it was more weird than like something tough to watch. And it's because this is my first time seeing him in a serious dramatic role.
Okay.
I've only seen him in The Other Guys, Pain and Gain, Transformers, The Italian Job. I haven't seen him in like something more dramatic. And so I'm sitting there just like giggling because we recently watched The Other Guys. And I'm going, Peacock! So that's my only real problem. It's more like a mental thing. But yeah, there was something that just felt a little bit less than the rest of his cast.
And it could be the talent that's around him is just that good.
Right. That was my thought too.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say everyone else.
Almost everyone else.
Because the sister characters... I mean, we can't even say characters. The sister character. They're one character.
Yeah.
Yep.
That fucking Charlene.
None of them have unique thoughts. Any scenes that they're in, because they're constantly running their mouths, I was like taken out of the scenes that they were in because I'm like, you're so annoying. Like, I wish the fighter were about Amy Adams just mowing through his sisters with punches.
That was awesome.
That was an awesome scene.
But you're right. The sisters just added to the chaos, but it felt really inauthentic where it was like, we're just going to be this one lump thing, a nominee. No, amoeba. That's what I meant to say.
Anemone.
Fuck off.
Me.
And generally, it made the whole family dynamic a bit confusing to me and took me out of the movie where I was trying to figure out, okay, whose dad is whose, but they're all acting the same. But maybe there's this one sister that's kind of trying to support Mickey, and it just really got out of control for me.
Well, I think that was kind of the whole thing with the sisters, to play the devil's advocate here, was kind of that the mother is so domineering.
Like the ringleader?
But just also, you know, she's so good. She was like the one line where they're talking about Dickie and everything, and she says, "Don't you dare talk to me about money. You still owe me, blah, 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 blah." You know, she just kind of shut her up in 2 seconds. You know, that this is kind of like a mother wolf and like her cubs, so to speak. You know, that the second she says something, everybody just shuts up and they automatically agree with her. And I think that kind of shows that Melissa Leo's character was a very domineering person. And also I would say the thing of, you know, that there are multiple kids with multiple dads and everything. I don't mean it to sound mean or rude, but I think it kind of also demonstrates the city of Lowell itself. That I've even heard people who are from Massachusetts all kind of go, yeah, that's Lowell. It is kind of a rundown, kind of scuzzy, not the greatest place that you really almost want to admit that you're from. That it's one of those types of towns. And having like she's been married 3 times, she's got 9 kids, you know, that kind of fits the town.
Just gonna throw out there, fucking 9 kids? My God. Fuck
You also
me.
have to remember Massachusetts
Irish
has a very
Catholic.
large Catholic and Irish Catholic population.
We recently watched Animal Kingdom, which is another movie with a matriarchy character, and Jackie Weaver was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Is this performance by Melissa Leo any better than Jackie Weaver's?
No.
Okay. Is it better? Would you say, Emily? You watched both. Which performance did you like more?
I like Jackie Weaver's performance better.
I agree with you. And that's one of the reasons I called out why I think she won, because she ran an ad campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do think Jackie Weaver's performance was better in a role that's very similar.
There was a moment in the car when she picks up Dickie and he's singing and she's singing. And there's a moment, and that is a really great moment. But beyond that, I felt like she was sort of one-dimensional, sometimes two-dimensional. We didn't get the full-on feeling of who she was, other than like, this is my family and I'm going to control it. Jackie Weaver's performance had a lot more nuances and had a lot more intrigue to it, I felt. But maybe that's just what the screenwriters wrote as a character.
Sure.
But I still feel like Jackie Weaver's performance just was better.
Yep. I can't say I have not seen Animal Kingdom.
Oh shit, you gotta watch that movie.
The only other movie that I've seen Jackie Weaver in was Silver Linings Playbook. And she was great in that, so I'll take your word for it. But yeah, I haven't seen Animal Kingdom.
I mean, she was so good in Animal Kingdom that David O. Russell put her in Silver Linings Playbook over Melissa Leo. So I think David O. Russell has a preference here as well.
I did not know that Melissa Leo was considered for Silver Linings Split.
Oh, I don't know if she was. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Whoopsie doodle. My bad was the scene with Christian Bale going through withdrawal in prison, and the kind of montage visions that he's having. That kind of killed it for me. I just didn't, and I'll even, devil's advocate myself of just kind of going, none of us are drug addicts. We don't know what it's like, but I just didn't believe that part. That was part for me that I was just like, this looks movie-like. The whole like, oh, his life's flashing before his eyes. Is he going to live or die? You know, that kind of thing. It was a little, for me, I didn't like that.
So the scene in Train Spotting where the baby's crawling on the ceiling as he goes through withdrawals, like, this is clearly like a trope.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I can't say either or. Just for me, that part of the movie, for me, just didn't play the greatest for me.
Oh, that's okay.
But also, I've never been a crackhead, so I don't know what it's like to come down off.
I've never gone through withdrawal, but I felt like it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I've been going through withdrawals of caffeine for the last 2 weeks, and let me tell you, my life's flashing before my eyes. Babies are crawling on the ceiling. It's bad news over here.
Nice.
Emily, you got some weird.
Yeah, did anyone else get the vibes of a clown car with the sisters and Al's coming out to fight Charlene?
That scene is so good.
Fucking A. Like the whole scene, I love it. But as they're coming out and they hit the garbage can and then they leave and they hit the garbage can again, the whole fucking time I was like, this is a fucking clown car. And my dad has 5 sisters, but it does not feel like that.
Even as they're getting in the car, I'm like, oh, they're going to take 2 cars. And then only one car pulls up and I'm like, what are you doing?
So fucking funny.
Kind of the thing that even makes that scene kind of even funnier is the fact that then you see George pulling up in his truck.
Back up.
And he's stops like half a block and he's like, fuck this. Nope, I'm going to just whip it in reverse. I'm not going to deal with this.
Yeah, I didn't find a lot of weird in this movie, to be honest. My one thing was, and it's something I don't think the movie does a great job of letting us know. Did Dickie know the cameras from HBO were following him to capture his drug use?
That was a thought that I had many times. And I don't have a good answer, because seeing Dickie at the end of this movie in real life, he seems like really happy about them being there. And maybe that's why he was willing to do this, to show that he turned his life around. But you're absolutely right to bring that up, because what the fuck? Like, they're just coming into this crack house and he's so fucking high all the time.
Now, have you guys actually ever seen that documentary?
No.
I've seen it. And like the scene in the car, spot on. You know, where they're in the car, when they're watching the documentary and there's the scene in the car and he's like, yeah, who would have thought they smoked crack at the White House? And, you know, where the camera's in the back seat and Dickie's looking out looking in the back from the passenger seat. That was like spot on what the documentary looks like and is. And it's not all about Dickie. You know, I thought it was after the movie. I was like, oh, this is all going to be all about him. It's not. It's just, he's just one of the kind of like main character type people.
Yeah, it's like a Crack in America expose.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, quick thing. Did anyone else read that Brad Pitt was considered for Dickie?
For Dickie? I don't think he could have pulled it off.
I don't think so either. I just wanted to bring that up and to just let you guys know. I don't think he would have done it any justice whatsoever.
Brad Pitt, he's one of those actors where he always has to be eating something, and I just can't believe that Dickie Ward would be sitting there eating something.
Wouldn't be able to lose the weight.
Exactly. Well, I just don't see a crackhead eating nachos. Let's just say that. But I have one weird, and it's kind of a funny weird. If you guys did not notice, Conan O'Brien's sister played one of the sisters.
How would I have noticed that?
Okay.
Because she looks like Conan O'Brien in a wig. It's really weird, but it kind of, when the movie came out, Conan kind of pointed that out. He was like, yeah, it's my sister's in that movie.
Dylan, you've seen this movie too many times.
Sorry.
You know so much about it.
But I'm serious. Once you look her up,
so
and
funny.
you see her. Yeah.
She looks a little like Conan O'Brien. It's not Conan obvious. In a wig. Let's put a cork in this thing and give our final thoughts on The Fighter. And we're going to start with Emily today.
I enjoyed my first boxing movie mostly because it had all the intrigue and drama that I love in boxing. And it rewarded me with a happy ending that I got to cry at. So fucking loved it.
Dylan?
Love this movie. Was my favorite of the 2010 Best Picture nominees. I don't see anything hugely bad with this movie except for the one part that I talked about, and even that's quibbly. That's, nitpicking. But for me, this is a pretty damn perfect sports, based on a true story, sports boxing movie.
You had a lot of qualifiers there. I enjoyed this movie. Acting all around in this movie is very well done. It's a very well-made movie. I would have appreciated more of a focus on the boxing or more of a focus on Dickie. Like one of the two, it needed to be more in the way it's presented. It's split between the two. And I think the movie loses a little bit of itself because of that. I think it could have been really, really good had it emphasized one over the other rather than trying to play them both.
Right.
But I did enjoy it. It's a recommend on my end. I don't know if I'm going to say it's the best of the ones nominated for Best Picture this year, but it was a great first watch. And I'm glad I got to see it. Not as good as Warrior, but we'll talk about that in 2011.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't think this was the best movie of the Best Picture nominee. It was just my favorite.
We'll have to talk about best versus favorite in a different episode.
I was like, wait, what?
That's interesting.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get the idea?
I just tried to think creatively.
Let's play some Twits Lite. Yes. All right, Ben and Dylan, I want you to picture this with me. You both are now accomplished boxers.
Done.
Can you picture that?
Yeah.
All right. Number 1. What's your intro music? Because that's super important.
Everybody Hurts by REM.
He knew exactly what it was.
Song that's got a fantastic Master of Puppets by Metallica. Just that opening is so hard and aggressive.
Sing it for us.
No, it's just all like guitars and drums
guitar riff,
and everything. Yeah, the guitar riff stuff is so good.
Number 2, who do you box to get to the championship against each other? Because you two are going to be finally duking it out. But before you get to each other, who are you boxing? Do they have like a nickname, some sort of silly style? Like, who are you boxing?
Butterbean.
Oh, actually, he went with an actual boxer.
Yep, because of my actual.
Butterbean hears this.
Because I'm a bit of a plump gentleman. If people didn't know this, and if you've ever seen Butterbean, he was quite the plump gentleman and still is as to this day. But yeah, I'd go with Butterbean.
Okay, I was gonna have you make one up, but I love it.
I defeated Donkey Lips Johnson.
Oh God,
Glassjaw Joe.
Yeah, he's got the look, and I split his lip, and it just bled all over the place.
Wow,
it was an actual donkey. I fight in Mexico. Donkey Lips Johnson is an actual donkey.
That's what I was gonna ask. Okay, number 3. We all know that fighting backstories are the most important part of boxing, obviously. So tell us your sad backstory to get your fans to relate to you. Doesn't have to be real, but
it's not going to be real. My mom passed away 2 weeks before I was born.
Before?
Yep. This led to me being raised by my father, who was addicted to NyQuil. And he would constantly belittle me, being essentially 2 weeks late. I came out fully ripe, so I was a big kid. And this caused me to walk funny because my legs came out adult size, but my body was baby size. So I ended up having to lift a lot of upper body to get my top half to match my bottom half.
As a baby.
And once I did, you know, despite his NyQuil abuse, you know, he was there in my corner when I went on to fight Dylan as now an adult male with a normal size body.
I would go with.
It doesn't get much harder than the picture I just painted, Dylan.
Yeah. Growing up again, I'm just gonna have to replicate some of my actual life. You know, get sentimental.
I knew you would. God damn it.
Growing up in a single parent household, my mom taught me don't take no shit from nobody, and I didn't do that. I was a brawler in the playground and a brawler in the streets.
And a brawler in the sheets.
Until one day my mom gets diagnosed with diabetes. And now I pick up boxing to pay for her insulin expenses.
Wow.
Oh.
And I've been such a bad boxer up until now. She has lost both of her legs due to that.
Oh, no.
Due to the diabetes. So now I got one last shot. One last shot to get that big payday. To get that
that
insulin.
movie's not going to have a happy ending, Dylan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, adult baby man is going to beat your ass.
He's going to destroy you. Yeah. He's all hopped up on NyQuil.
Oh, you took on your dad's.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Well, if you're all hopped up on
Dad.
NyQuil, then you're going to be so tired. I can just punch you one good hard time, you'll fall.
No, because if you fight that NyQuil like lull where it tries to knock you out, you get a good little high.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I feel no pain.
Personal experience or?
Yeah, shh.
Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Well, before we go, we got a full card of fights tonight as some of our favorite movie characters are going head-to-head in boxing matches for the ages.
Fun.
Tell me who I think would win in a boxing match between these two people.
Fuck yes.
Who you
I love
think
this
would
game.
win? Okay.
Who I think would win.
Okay.
Furiosa or Ellen Ripley?
Can I ask a question before? Is Furiosa using her artificial arm?
In a boxing match, I would say yes. She's not going to go one-armed.
Yeah, then it's probably Furiosa.
I'd still go Ripley.
Okay, I went with Furiosa. I don't think Ripley stands much of a chance. I mean, who has she ever defeated other than an alien? She has no experience fighting humans.
Okay, I can see your view.
Next title bout. This is a lightweight match. Gonzo or E.T.?
Okay, first off, Gonzo's going to win, and it's because E.T. is too kind and would do nothing.
I'll go with E.T. because I think he's going to make that heart light on Gonzo.
Dude, have you seen Gonzo's arms from Treasure Island when it's super long? He's just going to wrap that motherfucker up.
Yeah, but Gonzo's got that nose. One punch on that nose and he's going down.
Yeah.
He has gotten his nose grabbed so many times by so many people and he's been fine.
Yeah, but Gonzo's got cotton hands. How are those going to affect E.T.?
E.T.'s not real, Ben.
Whoa. Next one. Linguini from Ratatouille or George McFly?
George McFly is his dad, right?
Marty McFly's dad.
Post or pre-Biff fight?
No, he's got fight experience, this George McFly.
Okay, so this is after he's punched up.
Yeah,
then I'm going
losing.
with McFly. George McFly.
McFly's winning.
Remi's got boxing experience, I think.
Oh, okay.
Come on, it's Ratatouille.
I still don't think that's gonna work.
No?
Unless he brings knives to the fight, Linguini's not working.
If Linguini can't cook without Remy, but all of a sudden he's a world-class chef, Linguini can't fight without Remy, but put Remy on him and he's knocking George McFly out.
Now, if we're going with Remy's dad, because he was voiced by the great Brian Dennehy, that I would believe that his dad was a fighter rat.
Brian Dennehy can't manipulate the hair like Remy can.
Yeah, but Remy's only good at, add some paprika on that, or a little bit of garlic.
Whatever, Ben, you're wrong. Move on.
Okay. Juno or Jenna from Waitress? This is a pregnancy bout.
Juno. 100% Juno.
Because Juno would have no problem doing a low blow.
No, Juno would just be amused as fuck to be fighting another pregnant broad.
I don't think Juno would hit her at all. Jenna's a Southern girl. Southern girls fight.
So do girls from Minnesota.
No, they do not.
You've never seen me fight.
I'd love to see you fight. Who can we set up a boxing match with? You and
Dylan.
You and Kelly. Can we have your sister and you fight in a boxing
Kelly
match?
and I
hate to
gonna
say
fight.
it. I was honestly going to say, Emily, I'll fight you. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's do this. I have no pride left. So.
All right, Ben, next one.
Okay, these are two real people. Dwayne Johnson or Andre the Giant?
Andre.
Oh, okay. Well,
Andre from The Princess
the only
Bride.
reason I say Dwayne Johnson is because Andre the Giant really struggled later on. But if they're both in their prime,
it's Andre. Come on, man.
I don't think Andre could land a punch.
I don't think he could.
I don't think he would need to. He's so big and huge.
So he's just going to
really
stand there and run out the clock and take hits?
No. I'm just saying, I don't think The Rock could hit him hard enough because of his sheer size and girth. I don't think.
I'm not saying that Johnson's going to knock him out, but if we're doing a boxing match, Dwayne Johnson's going to land enough punches to win that fight, even if he doesn't knock Andre out.
Yeah.
I think Dwayne's just too fast. I struggle to see how Andre would win that fight. Guys, thank you for playing my game today. That was a lot of fun. I think the title match has to be Dwayne Johnson and Andre the Giant. Like that's
Absolutely.
the headliner.
Yeah, that's
So
top of the card. That's
I just want a hug from Andre the Giant. Fuck, he's so cool.
Thank you everyone for listening. Please like, rate, subscribe, share us with a friend or two. Follow us on social media at IDYP_podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can email us at idrinkyourpodcast@gmail.com. Next week, we'll be watching a movie of equal importance and acclaim as The Fighter, Hot Tub Time Machine. Emily, have you seen Hot Tub Time Machine?
I think I have once.
You want to guess what it's about?
I know they go back in time in a hot tub, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
Dylan, before we go, in your best Mark Wahlberg impression, because I know you're good at those, end the episode by saying, I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
I don't know if he's good at it. He just does it a lot.
Yeah. Hey, bud. Bud, how you doing? How you doing, bud? You know what I'm going to do to you right now, bud? I'm going to drink your podcast. I'm going to drink it all up. Say hi to your mom for me.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Bye.
Bye, everybody.